I'm Oonagh Williams of Gluten Free Cooking with Oonagh. I have a culinary arts degree and trained in London and Switzerland, but I live in New Hampshire now. My son was diagnosed gluten and lactose intolerant about 5 years ago, and actually it seems to be celiac disease and definitely dairy intolerant. And we've got other family members that are both celiac disease and have a variety of other food allergies. So as a trained chef, always having cooked from scratch with real ingredients, it was fairly easy for me to go gluten-free with the cooking, because real food is naturally gluten-free until it's messed around with by the producers. But baking is another thing entirely, as I'm sure you've all discovered, and you're fed up spending the time and the money either buying stuff out there that's utterly disgusting or trying out recipes that don't work. Even in wheat flour days, I used to say, unfortunately, far too many commercial professional chefs don't know how to write a recipe, and sometimes the recipe they're telling you is wonderful, they've never even made themselves. And I've had people say at my classes, or when they've gone home and tried something from the television, they say, Oonagh said this would happen, these recipes haven't been tested. And it's very true. My recipes have been made time and time and time again, and even my gluten-free ones are based on my regular flour. And as I say all the time, my 6'4" baby would soon tell me if my gluten-free wasn't as good as my wheat. And my husband's far politer, which normally gets a laugh, as you can imagine, but it's also very, very true. So chocolate, it's the substance of life for most of us women. They're finally agreeing that dark chocolate is good for us, so we can go ahead and have it with not quite so much guilt trip. Unfortunately, far too many chocolates have barley in as a sweetener, and barley, as we know, contains gluten, and you can't have it. So you have to really be careful. And as we keep saying all the time, you can't just rely on buying the same brand time after time. You have to read the labels every time. And if there's nothing on the label, you have to clearly research it on the site. And if people on their site won't give you a straight answer, I'm not giving them my business. If they don't care enough about us to be careful, they're not getting my business. And you've got to have that same attitude, because they don't care about our health and they're not paying our medical bills. So you need to do it yourself. So back in February, I had said, now remember people, Lindt truffles aren't gluten-free. And yes, we all love Lindt truffles. Now in wheat flour days, I would only use Lindt white chocolate for any white chocolate, because I love the flavour of Lindt white chocolate. And yes, people will say, oh, it's not real chocolate, but it still tastes wonderful. So I love Lindt white chocolate. Now, if you look online for Lindt, they will tell you their bars of white chocolate and some of their dark chocolates are gluten-free themselves, but they're often prepared on or processed on shared equipment. So they can't be 100% safe telling you it's gluten-free. My attitude also is that depending what factory it's made in and your level of sensitivity is how much you're going to react. So far, we've all been totally safe with Lindt white chocolate and their dark chocolate bars, but again, it's down to your own sensitivity. I was at in Merrimack, we have some fabulous premium outlets that has a big Lindt store, and we had a Chamber of Commerce party there in December. And I was told then that the Lindt white chocolate truffles and 2 of their white chocolates with vanilla in, and I think the mint chocolate, the mint truffle, were also gluten-free. So I bought some, and of course they are totally indulgent, disgraceful. So I was eating those, and I was making white chocolate raspberry cheesecake, white chocolate cherry cheesecake, white chocolate peppermint candy cane cheesecake, and then bread pudding with white chocolate, and then melting the white chocolate as a glaze on chocolate desserts over the holidays, because I make truly evil desserts, even gluten-free. And what I discovered was, even though I could eat a few of the truffles, by the time I'd had pieces of all these different desserts I was making, I was getting the arthritis joint pain. So you cannot overindulge on their chocolate, even if you want to. It's not worth it. But for a little bit, you can definitely do it. So as I say, I love the Lindt white chocolate bars and their white chocolate truffles. I make a chocolate orange cheesecake with their intense chocolate orange, and they're pretty good. If you look at their labels, it clearly says the word barley, so you know it's not gluten-free on the other ones, and then their dark chocolates as well. Round about the holidays time, Andy's Mint do these chocolate chips, and they do say they're gluten-free, or they clearly say it on their website. My son being dairy intolerant as well. Sorry about the noise of the packaging, people, can't control that. These are the 2 brands that I like of the dairy-free as well as gluten-free chocolate. These, I think it's, what's it called here? I think, oh, Chocolate Dream, that was it. And another one was called Rice Dream, I think. Those I do like the flavour of. Quite honestly, I don't like the flavour of Enjoy Life. I know it's out there everywhere. Try it and see if you like it. They are not cheap. They're probably about twice the price of your ordinary Nestle Toll House. Nestle is pretty bad. They used to label it gluten-free. Now they don't label it, and you've got to search around the website to get advice. And if they hide it, again, I'm really annoyed at it. But again, we don't seem to get a reaction to it, but again, it's down to your individual vulnerabilities. One that does say clearly on their website that it's gluten-free is the Ghirardelli chocolates. So they will tell you that, and it's a good chocolate. I do like it. Please don't buy the store's own chocolate, that their own brand name. I find those are normally too waxy. They don't melt wonderfully on your tongue, so they don't have a good taste sensation on your tongue, or if you just eat them on their own and they don't melt the same way. But I also discovered, we were complaining, people were saying they couldn't make Toll House cookies correctly any longer, even with wheat flour. And it is because due to the FDA poking their nose in, the composition of the chocolate has now been changed. So Toll House morsels, as I understand it, don't melt the same way as they used to do. So that's something to just bear in mind. But if you go to my blog, royaltemptations.com/blog, I do have what my girlfriend tells me are my gluten-free Toll House cookies. She was very happy with them. I made them for a conference I went to that she came with me, and demanded the recipe on the Monday for her 2 young daughters that are gluten intolerant. So there is plenty of chocolate out there for baking. Around Halloween time, you need to look online for lists of gluten-free chocolates. The good gluten-free sites, Healthy Villi is definitely one, will list what are safe gluten-free chocolates for Halloween, and they do change from year to year. I like Snickers in a bar, which I think tends to be all the time gluten-free, but I don't know whether their fancy ones for Halloween and Christmas are still gluten-free. Obviously, things like Twix and Kit Kat that are bars with a biscuit type crust, a cookie, they're definitely not gluten-free. And you have to check all the time because they change them all the time and they don't care about us. I keep saying they don't care about us. So go to my blog, royaltemptations.com/blog. There's 3 years of my recipes for the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness, together with clips of my appearances on our local ABC station. Please like me at Gluten Free Cooking with Oonagh on Facebook. Please subscribe and click that you like me here, and come back because I'll also be doing cooking and for gluten free. So take care.